quality, progress, service. This logo symbolizes the Southeastern Peanut Association. Buyers around the world recognize our peanuts as the ones others are measured against. It takes teamwork from all segments of the industry to make it work. And what you're about to see is this teamwork spirit in action. The first step in any operation is very important. Growers procure top quality seed after they prepare the peanut fields. This grower is in the process of filling his planter with seed. And once this has been accomplished, he moves to the field to begin the planting process. Growers plant at a seeding rate of 80 to 100 pounds per acre. Now, this number can be higher or lower depending on the individual grower's preference, weather conditions prior to planting, soil type, and other intangibles. What method works for one may not work for another. Within 7 to 10 days, the peanut will emerge. And depending on the weather, a herbicide will be applied to kill any grass that might be sprouting. As needed, the grower will turn the soil around the plant to stimulate its growth and control weeds, and he will continue to do this as needed. Given good moisture conditions, the peanut plant will begin flowering within 21 to 30 days. The first 3 weeks are a critical time for the plants. If the weather's too hot and dry, the flower, representing another potential peanut pod or peg, will never be able to take root in the ground. However, this plant looks healthy. Within 45 to 60 days after planting, the peanut vine has begun to grow and is in the process of filling in the row. Those growers who have irrigation have already begun to utilize it to place needed water to the plant. The result will be a full green plant where the rows are barely distinguishable. Growers will apply fungicides in an effort to combat diseases that might attack the plant. This can be accomplished with a tractor or by air if the ground is too wet to support a tractor's weight. Up until now, the grower has done everything possible to provide a good quality peanut crop. At approximately 100 to 120 days, he will begin to spot check his fields for damage and maturity. As you can see, it will not be too long before this crop is ready to be harvested. Once the grower has decided to harvest, he will attach a digger shaker to his tractor. This device will cut the taproot below the peanuts and gently lift them out of the ground. Then once they're out, a steel conveyor will lift and vibrate them to remove as much dirt as possible before they are inverted. You can see the peanuts riding up the conveyor, where they are inverted and allowed to dry. After they have dried in the fields from 48 to 72 hours, the grower will begin the process of picking his peanuts. This machine will lift the field-dried plant to separate the peanuts from the plant. The vines will be discharged to the rear and will be harvested as hay at a later date. The peanuts are dumped into a bin above the picker. And then they're conveyed into wagons. At this point in the harvest, the peanuts still contain 20% moisture. And once the wagons are full, the peanuts are taken to be artificially dried at the farmer's location or independent drying location. These large fans will force air heated to approximately 95 degrees Fahrenheit into the wagon and through the peanuts, drying them to between 8% and 10% moisture. Many times while harvesting, the peanuts will contain pieces of rocks, dirt, sticks, or other foreign material which are dumped in the wagon with the peanuts. A grower is paid on the basis of his average grade. However, for every percent of foreign material damaged peanuts or other kernels, the value of his peanuts decline. As a result, most growers will want to have their peanuts cleaned to remove as much foreign material as possible prior to grading. At the buying station, the peanuts are dumped into a pit, and then they're carried by elevators to the cleaner. Now, the cleaner is not designed to remove 100% of the foreign material, but will do a good job separating the peanuts, called farmer stock, from the large sticks, rocks, or dirt. Here you can see pieces of sticks, shells, and rocks have been separated. Then the clean peanuts are taken and dumped into the farmer's wagon. The next result will be cleaner peanuts with which to begin the shelling process. After the cleaning and drying process, the farmer stock peanuts then move to a sample rack, where federal inspectors sample to determine the grade. In the lab, the inspectors weigh the sample and then shell it to determine a number of things: the percent of damage, foreign material, other kernels, sound mature kernels, and sound splits, as well as moisture. At this point, the grower's job has been completed. The graded peanuts in wagons will then be transported to either a non-storing point, a storing point, or directly to the shelling plant. The peanuts here will be placed in temporary upright storage bins awaiting truck pickup. And then from here, the peanuts will be taken either to a storing point or delivered directly to a shelling plant. Once the harvest has been completed and all buying stations that don't have storage capabilities have been closed, it will now require the unloading out of warehouses. Workers use a front-end loader to scoop up those peanuts and place them onto a conveyor, which will transfer them into a trailer. The truck will then deliver the peanuts to the shelling plant. The truck is emptied into a pit and elevator, which will carry the farmer stock into the shelling bin. The peanuts now begin their journey through the shellers. The sheller separates the peanut kernels from the hulls. Since the peanut kernel is heavier than the hull, the peanuts will continue their gravity ride while the hulls will be air separated or vacuumed away. Once shelled, the peanuts will flow into the gravity separators. These machines will separate the whole kernels from the splits. An extra step to ensure quality occurs when peanuts pass over the destoner, which removes any remaining foreign material from the peanuts that might have been missed in previous cleaning operations. Any unshelled kernels will be returned to the secondary shellers for reshelling. From this point, the shelled peanuts will ride conveyor belts to the electric eyes. By the conclusion of this process, approximately 99% of foreign material, damaged kernels, and other kernels will have been removed. From this point, the shelled peanuts will travel to sizing screens to separate jumbos, mediums, and ones, and splits. once sized, they will be lowered into their holding bins. So all that's left to do now is to place them into their individual packages. The most common packaging is 50-kilo burlap bags. The peanuts are weighed by a digital scale to a pre-programmed weight. Once the individual bag has been filled, then it will be sewn. The whole process will take less than 5 seconds. From here, they will be stacked on pallets and then taken to a dry storage adjacent to the shelling plant to await pickup. Another packaging method is by boxes. Here, the boxes have been standardized to hold 2,270 pounds. Federal state tags are applied to the outside for identification of the lot. The last method is by bulk truck or bulk car. Bulk handling is preferred by the larger peanut users in order to move large volumes very quickly. If the peanuts are milled and not called for within 4 days, they're then moved to a cold storage facility. Here, the peanuts are kept at a temperature reading between 34 and 38 degrees Fahrenheit to maintain quality and to await shipment at a later date. But wait, the peanuts are only beginning their journey. 3 customers have called. The first wants his taken to a blancher, the second directly to a peanut butter plant, and the third will be exported. The load to the blancher arrives at the blanching facility and is weighed and unloaded. Samples are taken from the lot and checked for count, moisture, splits, ball heads, damage, and other concerns to the customer and blancher. The peanuts are then dumped into a holding bin to await their trip through the dryers. The dryers will dry the peanuts in an effort to loosen the skin, which will speed blanching. From the dryers, the peanuts will be blanched and the skins removed. Of course, any peanuts not fully blanched will be recycled into the blanching process. Once the lot has been completed, the blancher will package according to his customer's specifications. So the only thing left to do is load the finished product into the trucks. The second load is taken directly to a peanut butter plant. Now, this particular customer requested the peanuts be placed into boxes for shipment. Here, the peanuts are dumped to be taken to the roaster. Once roasted, the peanuts are ground up and turned into butter. The butter is placed into individual jars, inspected, and then packaged. The finished product is then stacked onto pallets, awaiting shipment to a distribution center. The third customer has requested that his shipment go export. The peanuts are placed into a container and then taken to the port. Once at the port, they are held to await loading onto a vessel. When the vessel has docked and is ready for loading, the containers are brought alongside and are lifted from the chassis to be placed on board the ship. From here, the peanuts will be shipped to customers in various parts all over the world. Yes, quality, progress, service. Truly a farm-to-factory concept.